Hello, beautiful and handsome world changers. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO Podcast, baby. Okay, I'm Ken's, your host, and I'm super jazzed actually to talk about what I'm going to share today. And that's on the topic of soundtracks and stories. What do I mean? A soundtrack to a song, we all know, is something, it's the lyrics, right? It's what we listen to, what's played on repeat, and we'll hear a tune. We've all had a song stuck in our head before, right? We all have. It's catchy. It's even songs we don't want in our head, okay? They've gotten there. There's power to soundtracks. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about the soundtracks of a song, though I will share on that. I'm more so talking about the soundtracks in our mind, the thoughts, the thought loops, the things that we think continually, and they create neural grooves in our brain. That's actually something we talk about in our programs with World Changers, is how to rewire that process and the neuroscience of that. But there's also a book called Soundtracks that I read a few years ago. An amazing mentor of mine, Raylan Jasmine, recommended. And it basically was on that note of like, whatever I'm continually thinking, that is what I'm continually getting. And there's a really fun quote from that book that was a soundtrack. And I want to share it because I'm going to use some foul language here. Okay. So, disclaimer, because it's funny. And this guy, I won't get into the story, you have to read the book, but basically, there was a person in this book that was being talked about of like, what are you thinking? Like, what are the thoughts going on in your brain? What's the soundtrack of your mind? And this guy was like, my life is dope and I do cool shit. And I was like, yes, brother, let's go. Could you imagine what your life would be like if that was a primary thought that you had in your head on a consistent basis, right? You're just like driving down the road. Heck, maybe you're driving to a job that you don't really enjoy, and you're like, my life is dope and I do cool shit, right? Or maybe you're about to have a tough conversation with someone. You're like, I really don't want to do this, but you're thinking, my life is dope and I do cool shit. Or whatever. Maybe you're actually doing things that are dope and cool and shit, cool as shit, whatever. So, anyways, I don't cuss often, but when I do, it's for a worthy cause. And I would say that is one. But that, like, those are things that we think about, and that creates results and that creates perspective. And as another amazing mentor of mine in the past has said, Randy Jasmine, the husband to Ray Lynn, is that our perspective drives our performance. And so I want to dive into that more today on like the thoughts that we keep repeating and just creating awareness around them, because it's like, oh gosh, it's tens of thousands. Okay, I've heard anywhere from like 70 something thousand to 90 something thousand. It might be more, might be less. Nonetheless, there's a lot of thoughts that we will think today that we're automatically going to think tomorrow. It's like 92% of the thoughts that we think today, we're just going to think tomorrow unless we intentionally change them. That's crazy. So no wonder so many people live the same year every year and call it a life. They're not changing their thoughts. So intentionally creating a soundtrack, I think it's a fun way to think about our thought patterns, can help us change our life. So I also want to share an actual soundtrack that it's a question that I'm going to be adding to our finisher questions with our guests that I just thought of recently. And that is if you could pick a song that would embody your life, what would the soundtrack of your life be? Now, the first song that came to mind for me is called I Lived by One Republic. And it gets me emotional because if you've ever heard that song, when they sing those words, I lived, and I'm not going to try and sing it like they do because they're way better. It's just like, what a statement. What a statement to say. My life is dope and I do cool shit. I lived, baby. I lived. And so I want to read some of these lyrics to you. Okay. And I would recommend that you listen to that song after this podcast. And from here, I'm going to transition and share some stories. So a lot of this talk today is going to actually be the words of other people and things that I have told myself, things that I've leaned on, things that I've dwelled on in a good way. Because I used to really battle dwelling on negative things. That was one of my biggest hangups for the longest time, was dwelling on things that didn't serve me. And I just was a total victim and it just did not serve my life, okay? But I want to read this to you and again, encourage you to think about what song would be the soundtrack to your life, right? And if you're ever maybe in that low and you need to pull yourself out, play that song. Let it raise you up. Music moves you, baby, right? And just think my life is dope and I do cool shit. Okay. Man, this song, I Lived. Ah, man, so good. One Republic, shout out to you, brothers. Okay. Are there girls in that band? I don't know. Anyways, so good. So some of the lyrics. Hope when you take that jump, you don't fear the fall. Hope when the water rises, you built a wall. Hope when the crowd screams out, it's screaming your name. Hope when everybody runs, you choose to stay. Hope that you fall in love, and it hurts so bad. The only way you can know is to give it all you have. And I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain. Hope when the moment comes, you'll say, I did it all. I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did, with every broken bone. I swear I lived. Hope that you spend your days, but they all add up. And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup. Oh, I wish that I could witness all your joy and all your pain. But until that moment comes, I'll say, I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. With every broken bone, I swear I lived. Mm, One Republic, Chef's Kiss. Okay, I'm gonna listen to that song on repeat. Anyone else just play a song like a psychopath on freaking repeat? Like, that's me. Okay. Man, so good, right? So good. So I hope that's just like moving something in you and shifting some things. And no matter how your day's going today, if it's a great day, why not raise it higher, right? Or at least keep that frequency. Like turn on a song, Hate One Republic or whatever you want to do. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's that turnaround, right? We all need a turnaround habit. We all need a turnaround approach, turnaround system, if you will, a bounce back, a resilience button, right? Anyways, so I want to read some other stories and quotes, and hopefully, some of these resonate with you and can meet you where you're at in your life today. And again, these are not my words. These are just words that have impacted me that I want to share with you. So if you're driving in your car, if you're getting ready in the morning, if you are working out, like let this feed you, okay? So, oh man, this quote, you've probably heard it, tried and true. Man, this is a staple, okay? This is actually a quote that I've probably talked about actually on a past podcast, but I had this quote pasted in my shower for years. It's Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. For years, I would say it. I would say it while I was working out, while I was driving down the road, getting ready in the morning, like obviously showering. And I just need to get it into my bones because I had so much fear. And I had to clarify what I actually feared. And that's the beauty of this quote. So I'm going to read it to you. And now I know this, but I'm going to read it because it's just so good. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, gorgeous, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Yeah, Marianne. Say it with your chest. This is so good. I'm just going to keep running through them. Okay, so this is power-packed story lyric time. Okay, so good. All right, this next one, actually, then I'm just saying a little backstory, on some of these, because why not? So this is actually part of my world-changing speech in Fiji, okay? And what's so cool is that little backstory. So it's the starfish story, if you haven't heard it. I'll talk about it here in a second, but if you have, you know. Now, we were in LA, this was last September, on our way to Fiji. So we're there for a couple nights. And we did the scavenger hunt. Shout out to Lori McDowell. She organized it. It was so much fun. And her and I were on the same team. And we're walking along the sidewalk in LA, amidst of the scavenger hunt, having a conversation. And we talk about our speeches, and I mentioned the starfish story. And fast forward, we're in Fiji, and I think it was like the first day we were there at some point, and Lori sees a starfish and throws it back into the ocean, like so powerful. And so it was really cool because we both actually talked about that in our speeches, and it's just such a testament to impact. Okay, so here we go. One day, an old man was walking along the beach in the early morning, and he noticed the tide had washed thousands of starfish up onto the shore. Ahead, he spotted a boy gathering up the starfish, then one by one, tossing them back into the ocean. He approached the boy and asked why he spent so much energy doing what seemed to be a waste of time. And the boy replied, well, the starfish cannot live if they're left out in the sun. Then the old man gazed out as far as he could see and responded, "But there must be thousands of miles of beaches, and countless starfish. You can't possibly rescue all of them. What difference is throwing back a few going to make anyway?" The boy bent down, picked up yet another starfish, and threw it as far as he could into the ocean. Then he turned, smiled, and said, "It made a difference for that one." Gosh, so good. Now, this is an ending to the story that I don't always see, but I love it. The old man leaned over, picked up a starfish, and joined the boy, throwing the starfish into the water. Mm, so beautiful. I love that. Our choices are impacting other people, especially when they might not get it and they have, resistance to it. But if you are mission driven and you're dedicated to a cause and you have a vision, like be the example, right? Go against the grain, follow what and do what's right. Yeah, such a testament. Love that story. Okay, getting there. Final two stories, y'all. Okay, these are stories that I've held on to for years. Actually, sorry. Oh my gosh, there's three. There's three. Cool, cool, cool. I was like, I think we're missing one. There's three. Okay, let's scroll down to the next one. Oh, did I not paste this over? Oh, I got it. Okay, this next one. Okay, if y'all know Brené Brown, this is one of her tried and true stories. Shout out to Teddy Roosevelt because man, that man nailed it. But I love this story, and it's one, actually the most recent one that I've been reminded of that's really helped me in this season of just that, okay, I'll say this, something I've been wanting to talk about is I don't actually get, knock on wood, a ton of like hate or negative comments or whatever. And I know like on social media, I don't have a big following at all. So the bigger the following, the more likely you're going to get that. But even in life, right? Like I will get comments. I have had people say things and I'm pretty sensitive still, depending on who's saying it and the context. Like sometimes I can shrug it off. I'm like, okay, that's just motivation. Thank you. And there's other times that I'm like, oh, wow, like I didn't want you to say that. It actually kind of hurts. But I've needed this because I've realized more of the negative quote unquote comments that I get are not actually what I get from other people. They're my own thoughts in my brain thinking what they're probably saying or might be saying. Maybe because I've seen them say it about other people, so I think they're probably saying it about me, or maybe because I'm judging myself and I'm projecting that other people are going to think that, whatever, right? Isn't that crazy? Like most of the negative that I think other people are saying, they're not actually saying to me. They might be saying to other people, whatever, who cares? But like, I'm not actually hearing, I'm thinking it. I'm creating it in the old noggin. That's just nuts. That's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? Actually, it's kind of human, but still, like, snap out of it, Kins. So I love this quote for that, okay? Let me read it. "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never knew neither victory nor defeat." Right? Like, I'm like, okay. If you get a comment, someone says something to you, ask, do I want their results? Do I want the outcome that they have in their life? I would venture to say most of the time you do not. So maybe maybe if there is any truth in that, because sometimes there is, and it can be valuable and we can take it and learn from it, and leave the rest. And there could be times that we say, yes, actually, no, I do respect this person. I want the results. I'm off, right? I'm making some not so great choices right now. And it's kind of hard to swallow that pill, but I'm really grateful for the tough lesson and the wisdom so I can be better, right? But man, good, right? And I think that's something that's helped me as I continue to create content and put it out online and share my heart and risk my heart to the world of like, this is who I am. I'm still figuring things out. There's certain things I'm like, this is freaking how it goes, man. And like, there's things that I know and there's things that I can add value in. I can help people with. I know that. And I think when you put yourself out there, it highlights all the things I also don't know, right? But I'm not trying to act like I do, So it's one of those things where I have to tell myself, if someone's ever coming at me hot, whether in real life or in my noggin, are they in the arena? Okay. Is my made up person in my mind in the arena? Chances are they're not, because if they actually are, they're probably actually going to be cheering me on. Because you know what? I'm cheering people on that are in the arena. Like, at least you're doing something. Even if I don't fully agree with everything or how you're doing it, at least you're doing something. You're trying to add value. You're figuring it out, right? Anyways, I love this quote. It's really good. Okay. Last couple. Ooh, okay. These ones. Man, yeah, these ones are deep. So, okay. I've shared before about my struggle with addiction. Okay. 10 years. It was crazy. It was nuts. Now, I'll say this about addiction, and I'm going to share this story that really helps me get through it. It's about the two wolves. Okay, if you know this story. And this story really, really helped me because I had so much shame around addiction. I mean, anyone that's battled it, it is just not a fun thing. But we all have tough stuff, right? Mine was just addiction in that chapter of my life. But something I've learned about it is it's actually like when you're not addicted to things that hurt you or other people or unhealthy, it's actually kind of a freaking superpower. You know what I mean? Like people that are addicted are typically obsessed with something, right? And what I've learned about some of the greatest entrepreneurs and innovators and world changers of all time is they were freaking obsessed. Obsessed. And is there a level of unhealthiness to that? For sure. Okay. But if you can learn how to wield it, to me, it's a superpower, right? Like if you take any superhero and their superpower, they could use it for evil, but they're a superhero because they've learned how to use it for good. And that's how I see now my addictive tendency from nature, nurture, however you want to cut it, that really it's a beautiful asset. Like I can freaking hyper focus on something and like ain't nobody gonna stop me, you know? There's a lot of value to that in entrepreneurship. Like you got to believe in you, you know, because like you're gonna be tested. You got to stay the course. You got to stay consistent. I am a freaking consistent human, you know? And I'm not trying to say I'm perfect at everything or that I can't get better because I can, but like my track record on certain things, like your girl, I'm freaking on it and I'm on it for a long time. So I'm very passionate. I feel it with my whole chest, right? Like I have a lot of energy. Like there's some really powerful things to that. But this story helped me view it that way. It helped me when I wasn't using it for good, so to speak. And I will say there's an unhealthy level of actual addiction that's coming from a not healthy place that I've healed that place. So what I'm doing now isn't coming from that same place, right? Even though I have this obsessive energy around things still, you know, there's been some deep, deep mental, physical, spiritual healing that has happened. So, and still room for growth, right? You know? Anyway, so this story is really good. All right, let's set the stage. An old Cherokee Indian chief was teaching his grandson about life. He said, "A fight is going on inside me." He told the young boy, "A fight between two wolves. The dark one is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego." He continued, "The light wolf, he is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going inside you, grandson, and inside of every other person on the face of this earth." The grandson ponders this for a moment and then asks, "Grandfather, which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee smiled and simply said, "The one you feed." The one you feed, baby. So good. I'll say this. This is my take. Everyone's journey is different. I'm not saying this is how you got to think about it or how, if you've battled addiction, how you think about it at all. I'm not speaking for that demographic, if you will. I believe that the bad wolf in me could go back to addiction at any point if I let it. The good wolf in me is using that energy because there's a lot of energy behind addiction, okay? Typically from an unhealthy place. But the good wolf uses that energy in a healthy way to do good. And I choose to feed that. And fortunately, praise God, I have a good amount of reps under my belt where it's really easy to continue to feed that good wolf. And I have boundaries where I know, like, I know me and I know my thoughts. Like, if my thoughts start to venture down a certain path of things I've battled in the past, I cut it off. But it's also so crazy when you transform and you go through this, like, total metamorphosis that things that used to maybe be triggering or tempting for me that in the past, like I don't even cross my mind. I'll use alcohol. When I was battling alcohol and that, you know, addiction, I didn't drink every day, but when I drank, I drank. I would binge. So I didn't think I had a problem because I was like, I don't drink every day. But like, no, I couldn't stop. I literally could not stop myself. But today, like I haven't drank since 2018. So I could go hang out in a bar and like I don't even think twice about it. Like I don't have temptation. People can drink around me. I'm not judging you. Like I haven't had that for a long time. The first 2 years were the hardest, but since then it's been pretty dang easy. Because before 2018 it was actually 2016. So 10 years. I was 24. That's nuts. That's like pretty young to stop drinking. And I had 2 years then, and then I was like testing it out. Like, do I really have a problem? And I was like, okay, yeah, I have a problem. So I stopped drinking again. Anyways, so I'm fine. Like I can be around that. It's not a big deal. With that said, is if I started to think the thoughts of, like I did in 2018, maybe I could, right? And this is the thing, maybe I could, maybe. But I don't want to explore that. I don't want to entertain that because to me, that's throwing the bad wolf, the dark one, a bone, right? Just chew on that, right? Because to me, my opinion, my own values, my identity, there's no actual value to consuming alcohol. There's not health, enough. I mean, some could say research around wine, for example, like some health benefit. But to me, I'm just saying there's no health benefit. There's no social benefit because I know how I was in the past and like I don't need it to feel comfortable talking to people. Trust me, I worked through that a long time ago. Social awkward Mackenzie was my nickname, Sam. Anyways, but I just know I can't let my thoughts go there, right? Same thing with men, right? Like when I'm dating and I start to, or maybe entertaining the idea of dating, if I allow my brain to think too much about a particular person or start to fantasize about this, fairy tale life that we could have together, I have to nip that in the bud, man. Like I really do. And I do. And I have enough like success in that. But to me, again, that's throwing the dark one a bone because I know how I used to be. I was so obsessive. I lived in a fantasy and that transpired into actual choices I made in my life. But with that being said, like I can be around, I can like people can joke about stuff or I can see something here and there and it doesn't like immediately trigger me because I don't dwell on it. Right? I don't. I move forward. And so that's part of why I love this story is it's just like this analogy of, I love what John Maxwell says, like we're all one step away from stupid. And if you've been in recovery programs, you have to be aware of like, there's a saying, once an addict, always an addict. Whether you agree with that or not, my perspective is the dark one in me could go back there if I fed it, if I allowed it. Now, I've had some pretty insanely like transformative spiritual experiences with certain things like sweets. Like I didn't eat sugar for 7 years almost. Like I didn't have candy, I didn't have dessert. I said no for 7 years, okay? Because I had an issue with it. Now, I've been a health coach in that time. I never once coached anyone else to make that decision. Never once. That was my issue. And I'm grateful that I didn't think that that was a solution for everybody. And I never told anyone to do that. There's maybe some people in that time that, made a decision not to, but I don't even remember if they did. Like, because that's not it's not a healthy thing typically. But I went through a radical spiritual experience where now I can have any sort of candy or dessert and I'm fine. Like, do I eat more of it sometimes than I want to? Sure, but it's not a binge, it's not a compulsion, it's nothing. Like I say that mainly if you're a female around your hormones, right? You're like, maybe I had another cookie that I didn't need. But I'm human, right? Like I have grace. I don't need perfection. Anyway, so that's really helped me to say there's an addict in that bad wolf in me, but I don't have to feed it. I don't have to focus on it. Like I am renewed, I am a new woman and I know my boundaries. There's a concept called top line, bottom line. Like I know what they are for me. So anyways, that's been a real powerful one. Okay. Last story, and I'm sure there's more, but these like five really, really have pulled through the test of time. Oh man, this one. Okay. Yeah, this one's really powerful. They're all powerful in their own way. My disclaimer for this is that this one highlights my faith. So if you don't have a faith, I am not sharing this in the sense that you need to or whatever. Like if you know me or like listen to me long enough, like I hope you know that I'm not here to try and convert anybody. Okay. I'm just a girl who loves Jesus and I'm living my life loving Jesus. It's a personal relationship. It's actually probably something I'll record in the future. I'm just say a little snippet of it. Imagine I say the word Jesus and we act like it's Bob. Okay. Let's just remove Jesus and put in the phrase Bob. I have a personal relationship with Bob. Bob's my guy. Okay. I start my mornings talking to Bob. I end my nights talking to Bob. I go on walks talking to Bob. I'm in like living my life talking to Bob a lot of the time. Bob's cool. Bob's my guy, right? I really love Bob. Now, I know there's some other people that don't like Bob. Okay. Actually, some people that really, really hate Bob. And there's some people that don't really know Bob, some people that once knew Bob and they don't anymore. Yeah. But to me, whether someone else likes Bob or not has no indication on if I should like Bob because I have a personal relationship with Bob. Bob has been there for me, whether anyone else understands it or not, in my toughest times and in my best of times. In my belief, Bob has helped my best of times happen, baby. Those are blessings from Bob. Okay. So that's just my view on it because I didn't always know Bob. And but if someone else believes in Tom, like believe in Tom. If Tom does great things for you and you're a good person to other people because of your relationship with Tom, do it. Anyway, so that's just how I am. But so this isn't a podcast that focuses on Bob, okay? Quite frankly, what I love about what we do in World Changers is that we have different religions. We have people that believe in Islam or Mormonism or atheist, right? Or just in the universe, they're spiritual. Like whatever you believe, whatever works for you, works for you. I believe in the golden rule so strongly here. Like I am not going to judge what you believe. You do what you want to do. And my ask is that you give me that space to believe what I want to believe, man. And we can still get along and be fine. So, FYI, okay? Now, one thing to this for others that believe in Bob, if I have had people ask me about I'm just keep using Bob, about my relationship with Bob. If someone comes up to me and they're seeking my insight, if they're seeking understanding, I will happily talk about Bob, okay? Are there things that I see in people's lives that I'm like, oh man, I know what it was like when I didn't have Bob in my life. And if you had Bob in your life, it could probably change your life, right? But I'm just not that girl that's gonna, like, I'm the girl that's gonna love you regardless. Like whatever you believe, I'm gonna love you. Because to me, that's an extension of Bob, okay? FYI. And I was saying this to someone a while ago. I was like, I'm not concerned about the source of where people find their love and their self-worth and their identity and what they believe about what happens after, death and all this stuff. What I'm concerned about is that wherever you get your source of love, you extend that love, that you're extending grace, that you're extending kindness, you're extending everything that the good wolf represents. That's what I care about. So, anyways, my big disclaimer. Okay. Now, getting onto the story, take it for what it's worth. One night, I dreamed I was walking along the beach with the Lord. Many scenes from my life flashed across the sky. In each scene, I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were two sets of footprints, and other times there was only one. This bothered me because I noticed that during the low periods of my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could only see one set of footprints. So I said to the Lord, "You promised me, Lord, that if I followed you, you would walk with me always. But I've noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there has only been one set of footprints in the sand. Why, when I needed you the most, have you not been there for me?" The Lord replied, "The years when you have seen only one set of footprints, my child, that is when I carried you." If there's anything that I could give my gratitude for every blessing that I have, it'd be Bob, it'd be God, it'd be Jesus, it'd be the Lord. And I'm going to share a little story at the end. So it was May 5th of 2024 when I was in Seattle, Washington, and I drove in overnight to be in Seattle at my old church where I'd gotten baptized. I came to Jesus as an adult. And the day before, I'd gotten a letter from, at the time, my husband saying that he was leaving. I was put in the gas cap of my car after a meeting we had together with another couple. It was a business meeting, and him and I didn't speak in that meeting. And I was not expecting it at all. And so I drove up. I didn't know what to do. He turned off his location, disappeared. And so I went to the place that I could find some reprieve. We weren't really planted at a church in where we were living. So May 5th, he called. It was maybe a 2-minute phone call. And he said that he'd made up his mind and he was done with our marriage. And I, again, was just utterly, utterly shocked. Now, looking back, okay, you're like, how did you not have any idea? Okay, looking back, I can see some lines. All right. But when you're in it, I thought he was the guy that would never end a marriage. I was the girl that didn't believe marriages lasted. So I brought in a ton of belief. I'm not blaming him. Like I created so much of this, okay? Like there's a lot I learned, biggest lesson of my life. But I shared all of that because May 6th, now a Monday, this letter on the Saturday, phone call on a Sunday, letter on a Monday. I am at my brother's house. I drove to Boise, so like 7, 8 hours overnight, just absolutely bewildered. Okay. And you know, those mornings you wake up and you're like, this is my life, what I'm waking up to. Like, what is happening? And I'm on the phone with one of my best friends. I had called like all that night when I was driving. My sister-in-laws and my brother was talking to them, and Cody and Taj Wilding, love you guys, was talking to them. And I was on the phone. I think Cody had called me because I talked to Taj like all night, and I don't know if I'd actually talked to him yet. And he had prayed for me, and I'm just so grateful because again, I'm just sharing from my faith. Like I knew God, I knew, I'd been on this journey, I'd been growing, there's a lot that had happened in my faith, but I never learned how to like pray in the spirit. And I won't get super, I'm gonna keep this kind of high level and light here, where it's like the spiritual language, okay? And he prayed over me to accept that. And it was the first time in my life. And I say first because it actually happened again spiritually when I overcame, like I was prayed and overcame the whole sugar thing, where it's like I could feel every cell in my body was a light. And so after that, my relationship with God completely changed, like night and day. And I was already like really solid in my faith. And it just was another level spiritually that I'd never experienced. And I think of that because the doors that have opened, the relationships that have, like, it blows my mind. And that's a story for another time. But I just think of that, right? Of like something that, was happening little by little that I didn't really realize was happening. And then it happened all at once. And like I thought we were working through it, basically. Like I thought we were going to figure it out because that's what, I wanted to believe. Like I wanted to believe that marriages lasted. I just didn't. I'd fed the belief that they didn't, the bad wolf for too long. And I hadn't whipped it back around, fast enough. And so, anyways, all that to be said, I'm actually very grateful that happened. I'm actually very grateful I am not in that relationship. I'm actually very grateful that I'm not on the path that I was on. And with all that being said, I'm so glad that it happened. I'm so glad I was on the path that I was on for 10 years. I'm so glad that him and I had that dynamic for a while because I learned a freaking ton. And it's crazy because I now believe that marriages do last. Isn't that funny? Got it twisted, Kens. Now I believe, like, I see my worth way more, and I see where I gave my power away, like, pretty much immediately in that relationship, and gave my sense of security to a person that could never carry it. And no person can, not just this person, but no person can, like, in my opinion. I need to, and there's spiritual roots to that. So, anyways, that really moves me because I'm like, man, you were there in everything. Shout out to Bob. Okay. Those are my stories, a little extra story, a little extra flair. And I know this is shaking. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, I'm on a little bit of a wobbly table. I got some French books underneath me. I am in my workout clothes. Behind me is this. It's really funny. Okay. I just have to laugh at some of these Airbnbs. Cute little Airbnb. I got it because of the location that is near the ocean. And it was in a budget I was like comfortable with. I also got it because I thought that this was like an upstairs that I could like chill in. No, it's only for sleeping. Like the ceiling's like right here. It's really funny. Didn't read the description well enough, okay? I don't know meters, centimeters, whatever that well. So, anyways, we're here for it. All to be said, it's done. We're in the bag. Not perfect, not spotless, not super fancy, but just real, raw, and I'm consistent. Gosh darn it. So, there you go. All right. Much love, team. I hope this served you. I hope there's a story that resonated with you today. Take it with you and have a great one. Bye-bye.